Hmm. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. I told you some time ago when it was announced that Donald Trump was the next president of the United States, having been exposed before the people and ended up still being president. I indicated at that time that I would, as Donald Trump walks the steps that he can't help but walk, in certain instances, I would stand up and give representation of the divine way, the God of love's way, so that you can have choice. Now, I've always spoken against bullies, but I look at Donald Trump, who outbullied all of you, and regardless of what was said about Trump, it didn't matter. Trump became president. What blows my mind is that you had required that he submit his taxes. Now, I think if you went to apply for a job and they wanted to see your taxes, you give it to them. But if you didn't have any respect for the boss, you were going to go in there trampling on them, then you would say what they wanted to hear and never do it, because that was never your intention to do what they wanted, but what you wanted. And so when you see him going in and bringing in people that he condemned while he was running for the election, and bringing in those same people after winning, tricked you again, lied to you again, you bought it. Now he says he has billionaires around him to help guide him through this suckering of the American people. And he constructs policy that pertains to you using your money, and goes in closed session and won't even tell you what he's doing or in the intents. And yet, in that process, will take that money that would deny so many people health care and put it in the hands of his buddies for helping him scam America and as much of the world as he possibly can. That is their intent. And to be successful in this, he would have to divide not just America, but divide the world. Lying to whomever he needs to lie to, partnering with whomever he needs to partner with, and ready to switch at any moment. That's the way of the world. He's just in a position to flaunt his power at this time. He has competition with Putin and others, but he's doing his role to make America great again. Make America great again means that rich people had everything. They came over here with the money, and by having the money, they controlled everything. They controlled taking the natives' land. They controlled keeping women's mouths closed. They controlled poor white people by paying them minimum wage. They had to have something, and brought in some slaves. That's what money does. And they got wealthy off of it. And so he wants to make America great again by instituting some of those same policies. And you would like to think that America has grown. Well, we will see. Because after he has planned on doing all of those things, God, when Donald Trump says in his meetings that between the poor and the rich, he chooses the rich. He loves them both, but he chooses the rich. Then he takes away your health care. So those who poor, who voted for Trump, who have been thrown out now with the dishwater, God will receive you and claim you if you claim God. His hand is outstretched. Those of you who will be thrown off these health care rolls, God is here to claim you, to show you a different way. And God's way, the divine way. And the difference between it being a Republican way or a Democrat way or Trump's way or my way is that it's a way that works for everybody. A way that works for everybody. So I call it God. You can call it what you want to call it. And it works this way. Everybody at one time or another potentially can get sick, break something, or need some form of health care. This is known by all people and the power that made us. And having this knowledge, it was prepared that any resources outside of man, human beings themselves, would be made available within the creation, on the earth, in the earth, above the earth, seen and unseen. This has been already provided in the creation of the earth. And when people come into the earth, they are touched with a desire, a craving of something to do. And each of these touches, this craving, something to do, has to do with participating in the process of establishing whatever goods, whatever services that humankind would need, first of all, for survival, which includes food, clothing, shelter, education, health care. And the way to do this, by that touch, it gives everybody a role in participating in that process by exercising their gifts in a career of their own touching, a career of their own choosing, a career that gives them the greatest joy of anything. And what they are doing is using what God has given on the outside and in the inside and creating everything we need, and everybody's playing a part in it, and everybody owns it. And it is there to be used by whomever, whenever it is needed, wanted, or desired. Didn't cost no money. No money was essential. No money was necessary. Now that's God's plan. That's a divine plan. So, you hear what Trump is planning. You hear what the Republicans are planning. You don't know yet because they're keeping it secret. Now I just shared with you what God prepared and would that would happen. But the choice is yours. This way that I have just described to you as being the divine way, or the way that the Republicans, the government, is planning for you. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. Now, I realize that many of you will say, well, like Trump won, what happens when he receives the majority of the people, and that plan that he wants to impose on the people is imposed on the people? Then what do we do who stood otherwise and voted for God? Then I say this: there's only one thing that you can do, and that is resist. Resist these policies that these people who are so far away from God do not understand and made their choices out of ignorance, out of lack of knowledge. You do know, so you resist. It's going to take this resisting to change them, and you must resist. Because if you do not resist, it means they have changed you. And you were never of God, because God is the light. God is the salt. God is the story, the love story. So, I just wanted you to know that you got a choice. You can go for Trump and the Republican way of health care, or you can go for the divine way. Not Democrat, not mine, not blacks, not whites, but a health care that works for every individual in America, and hopefully being an example to work for every individual on the face of the earth. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. And let me tell you this. If it ends up going the way of Trump, that is because everybody is going that way, except those who stand up and resist at all costs. And I'm telling you just like it is. I know you're looking for the easy way out. You want to live forever because you don't know the truth. But baby, you better learn the truth, because what they got planned for those of you who are absent of the truth, and I'm not trying to scare you, because it will be a result of your own choices. Yours. No one to blame, just you. Bye-bye.